I'm really grateful to be here, and I'm just so excited to join this community. But I moved from Los Angeles, and since moving to Boca, there have been several moments of realizing that, wow, I don't live in California anymore. For example, on my very first night here, I was at a hotel because my lease had not started, and I was walking my dog Busby around the hotel, and without much warning, the skies opened up. For a whole 7 minutes, there was a lot of rain, and then it was over. It had been a long time since I had seen summer rain. And in Florida, as we all know, or as you know, this time of year, there's a lot of rain forecasted, and there's more concern for when it is going to rain because it is plentiful and it is an inconvenience. There is something really magical, though, about rain. When water touches the earth that has come from the skies, it brings life to soil, it allows nature to grow, and perhaps most importantly, here in Florida, it breaks the humidity. Because there is no constant drought or conversation about drought, and because we are so lucky to live so close to the ocean, there are a plethora of opportunities this weekend to watch fireworks in honor of the 4th of July. And the idea of fireworks are actually kind of crazy. On the ground, fire crackles, it brings warmth, it brings light, and it can, as the expression goes, spread like wildfire. The idea of shooting fire, which is not an object, it's a gas, into the sky to create art that we now know as fireworks is really nothing short of magic, and actually happened accidentally. Many, many years ago, and historians have said as early as 200 BCE in China, someone threw bamboo into a fire trying to add more fuel to it. And instead, it crackled and the first firework was born. Centuries later, an alchemist mixed various chemicals on a search to find eternal life. And during this, he put the chemicals into bamboo and lit it on fire. And that was the first, what they call paper fireworks. Over time, fireworks evolved, and they were shot into the sky to become aerial, and colors were added to more closely resemble the magic that we will see over the beach this weekend. But why are fireworks magical? For me, they defy the laws of nature because without this container, fire spreads, and yet fireworks, they go up just for moments and then they disappear. Similarly, there are countless other things in this world that seem to defy the laws of nature. We see them through our daily miracles. We feel them when something fits just perfectly. Perhaps we feel them during the most beautiful rendition of Yismachu that we've heard in a very, very long time. And we read them in the Torah. Ancient rabbis teach in Pirkei Avot that in the very last moments of creation, God creates 10 final things before resting on the first Shabbat. The first, and I'm going to count them out, is the mouth of the earth that swallowed Korach, who is a character in this week's Torah portion. The second is the well that hydrated the Israelites through the very, very hot desert while they were wandering. And for those of you who were just in the desert in Israel, perhaps with Rabbi Dan, you know that hydration is very, very important. Third is the mouth of the donkey who we will read about next week that spoke to Balaam and offered blessing. The fourth was the rainbow after the flood. The fifth was the manna that the Israelites ate while wandering. The sixth was Moses' staff that, among other things, turned into a snake. The seventh was the shamir, which is this magic worm that actually ate through rock and was used in building the breastplate that was worn during the time of the first temple in Jerusalem. The 8th were the letters that turned into the 10 Commandments. The 9th was the writing of the 10 Commandments. And the 10th were the actual 10 Commandments. These are different pieces that throughout the Torah, Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz teaches are connected to one another because all of them seem to defy laws of nature as well. Rainbows need just the right amount of sun and rain to be visible. In this week's Torah portion, the mouth of the earth opens up literally in a way that comes straight out of science fiction to absorb people that come together to rise up against Moses and doubt God. And the first physical copy of the 10 Commandments, these tablets, bring up some of the most challenging questions in all of Judaism. Who wrote the Torah, and when was it written? Questions can help us to deepen our connection to one another and to this world. As I get to know you in more small groups, I will ask a lot of questions to learn your story and to get to know you. And when thinking about the 10 things that were created right before resting, right before that feeling that we will all feel in just a few moments, I'm reminded that sometimes we don't actually need answers to our questions. Sometimes the answer can be that it was just a little bit of magic, maybe a little bit of pixie dust. In a rational world, it's a really, really challenging concept to accept that something can happen without explanation. With a smartphone in our hand and the internet at our disposal, we have all been programmed to think that there is an answer and that there has to be an answer. And if we just spend a couple more minutes looking, we'll find it. But what I think the rabbis are trying to teach us here is that not only is it okay that not everything always has a clear answer, but rather that's part of how and why the world works. It was how it was meant to be. We don't have to know why the world was made in such a way that there is scarcity and abundance of the same commodity in different places at the same time. We don't need to know the particulars of every single science experiment that got us from that first paper firework to the beautiful art that we will see over the sky. But one of our responsibilities is to look around with amazement and curiosity around our world and simply acknowledge that there's a little bit of magic, a little bit of what we can't describe. It might be grand, it might in fact be a talking donkey, and if you see one, let me know. It might be the magic that is interwoven into technology that allows us to live stream services. I know my grandmother is watching right now in California, and to video chat with loved ones. And when we can acknowledge that there's a little bit of magic, our world gets a little bit bigger. May our blessing of freedom this Shabbat be to realize that the magic around us allows our dreams to be huge and the possibilities to reach them be endless. Ken Yehi Ratzon, so may it be God's will.